Guys, it's Beth Jones from Mama Sport and Beth Jones Coaching, and I just wanted to do a little video. There's been a lot of talk lately, especially on some of my Facebook groups, about diastasis recti and how we fix that and what it is and what it means. And there's a lot of hoopla right now in the media and everything about that, and there are a lot of programs coming out about it, and there's a lot of confusion, I think, personally, from truly what this means and how do we rehab it, how do we close it is the big thing, and that's the part that concerns me. And this kind of was inspired, this little video, by a woman on one of my pages who just went to the doctor and found out she had a 4-finger gap, and they said she needed surgery. And that just blows my mind that this is still where we're coming from, because the thing about diastasis recti and really anything is this need to go and fix it surgically. And it's not just the diastasis, it's things like our knees and our ankles and our shoulders and all these things, these injuries and conditions that are stopping us from doing the activities that we want to do. And we're automatically being told that we need to go in for surgery for these things, instead of first being referred to somewhere, either a physical therapist or an athletic trainer or another, biomechanist or, an exercise physiologist, somebody like that who can truly look at what is causing these injuries, okay? And diastasis can be a little different because so many of us tend to get it after we've had a baby. And so it's really become more of this idea that it's a baby issue. And hold that thought, I'm just going to move my mic a little closer. But we see this diastasis in this pelvic floor. They go hand in hand a lot of times. So we see them as being, oh, you had a baby, these are the things that are happening to you. Instead of really recognizing them for what they are, is that, it's an injury to tissue. It's an injury to tissue that's making it dysfunctional. We are not able to move in the way and support our body in the way that we could before, this dysfunction occurred. When you look at it, it truly, at the physiological level, isn't any different than a sprained knee or a sprained ankle or possibly, issues that you have going in your shoulders. And we're being it floors me that in 2017, that we're still being told that we need to go under the knife to fix these things. And here's the deal, guys. Sure, will that fix it? Yeah, in the short term, it definitely will. You will get those two sides of that rectus abdominis here. They'll stitch it together like a corset, and those will be together again. But the reason why these are still here and they aren't closing up isn't because, we need to manually put them together. It's because the function of the core muscles underneath it aren't engaging in a proper way to help close that to become functional. It's okay during resting if they spread out a little bit. I mean, if they're too far out, of course, we're losing the support of our internal organs. But if they're turning on and closing and becoming functional and giving us support during our movement, during the times that we need it, then that's okay if they're not perfectly together. Because here's the thing, guys, tissue a lot of the time stretches. I did a live on my Facebook group yesterday, and we talked about tissue has both elastic properties and it has a failure rate, meaning that it can stretch to a point and bounce back, okay? Over time, the longer that you have it stretched on there and the bigger the force and the load on that tissue, the less likelihood it's going to come back on its own. All tissue, it's why if you've ever had an ankle sprain and you sprain your ankle really bad one time and it's never gone back, it goes out all the time. Same thing, those ligaments of your ankle have been stretched to a point that they are now loose. And we rehab an ankle. Any of you guys who have been in any type of athletics know this. You rehab an ankle to, restore function and support of the muscles around that joint to make it so you can go out and play again. And we need to do the same thing with our abs. Instead of saying, oh, I'm just going to pull these muscles together and then you'll be fine. No, that's not how it works at all. Instead, we need to start by saying, let's do a little prehabilitation first and see what happens, okay? The ultimate time to do prehabilitation is during pregnancy, so you can work on strengthening the muscles, because as your pregnancy grows and as your rectus abdominis starts spreading out and starts spreading on that linea alba, that connective piece of tissue That is basically what the diastasis is. Those rectus abdominis, these muscles, the six-pack muscles, just don't become, they're not as functional. They can't contract as well as they could before. But we can do prehabilitation, meaning that we can go ahead and load ourselves up on the front side, knowing what we're going to be sustaining some type of injury or, dysfunction of our muscles because of our pregnancy, and start training our vital core here. And our vital core being our hips, our abs, our back, our shoulders, and our alignment. Okay, that's another thing we really have to look at, but I'll come back to that. But by training that on the front side of it, or let's say you find out that you have this diastasis, you have the baby, you find I have another friend of mine, a client that just, she's only not even a week postpartum, and they say, oh, they could put her whole hand in there. She definitely has a split. Yeah, you know why? Because it hasn't been a week. And there's a good chance that, she will need, and she was a doula client, I should say, and not a fitness client, a good chance that she'll need some rehab on the other side of that. But you have to give that tissue time to heal, guys. You can't go checking yourself literally 3 days after you give birth and start freaking out that your abs are split because, they're going to be split. Because there is a time that your tissue has to heal and let it come back together. And we can do things we can do things before birth to start, increasing the likelihood that those muscles are going to respond to become functional again. And we start basic exercises after birth. And I'm not talking about going to the gym and lifting. We're not talking about losing weight. We're talking about becoming functional, because that's where we have to start on all of this. Okay. So we really need to shift our mindset, I think. This is my personal opinion. We are so worried a lot of times, and I get it because I'm a mama too, and I've been there, about being able to get back to activity, to get back to the gym, to get back to our sports, to get back to our pre-pregnancy body, that we are ignoring the fact that we need to become functional. And suddenly 15 months after the fact, you find out, oh my gosh, I have a 4-finger split. Oh, the world is coming apart. I'm going to have surgery. No. Okay? We need to say, okay, now I need to step back and I need to reboot myself a little bit and focus more on the function of my body, and then move forward on the performance part of it. Because once we get ourselves strong in a foundation and on a base, all the rest of the things will just come naturally with that. So if you are a person who has been struggling with pelvic floor and diastasis, and you haven't gone to see somebody who can truly assess your movement and your alignment patterns, then I really encourage you to start there, even if your doctor has recommended surgery. The reason being, because if we start that foundation, that's going to give you a really good idea of how your muscles are going to respond. And even if you go back and you decide you do need surgery to correct it, you're still going to need rehabilitation afterwards, because as I said, the surgery puts the things back together. It doesn't restore function of it, okay? That's what rehab, when we rehab a knee or an ankle or whatever, a lot of the times we're working a really long time to restore the function. And that's why we have progressive return to play, okay? It's the same with our core. And I just really feel like that piece of it is missing in a lot of the education that we are getting right now. It's all about close the split. And if you talk to a lot of the women's health professionals, the women's health, like physical therapists, we're coming to the point now where we're like, no, restore the function and the split will come. I probably should have done an outline for this, but obviously I'm a little bit fired up. So kind of some of the main points of this. I don't want to go on and on and on. And hopefully I'll do some things moving forward here to show you. The first thing we need to do is, if you have any dysfunction, you have a split that's not closing, you have a pelvic floor that isn't responding like it needs to, you have hip pain, you have back pain, you have knee pain, you have shoulder pain, okay? All of that, the first thing we want to do is we want to strip it down, and we're going to look at our alignment. Where are our alignment points? How are we holding our body, and how are we moving? Because we start there, and usually there's a lot of times there's some weakness in like the basic vital core there that is not allowing our body to be supported as it needed. So we look at our alignment. Are we lifting our chest and our ribs forward? Are we tucking our pelvis? Are we making our bodies, because our bodies need to be in a perfect alignment, or a very good alignment, in order for the muscles to function like they need to, okay? Secondly, and then we start kind of retraining those muscles. Okay, now we have ourselves in alignment. Our muscles aren't used to being there. So we do have to retrain them a little bit of how to function there. So we spend a little time there. Next, we need to look at reconditioning our muscles, okay? Once we have them retrained to function properly, now we're going to condition them for the purpose at hand. So, maybe it's lifting our babies up. Maybe it's running again. Maybe it's, returning to CrossFit. We condition our muscles for the activities. There's a lot of them. And so, sometimes we need to condition them in different ways. But then we recondition them that way. And then, we continue to reassess and we return to play and we just progress off of that, okay? But if you don't take the time to step back and really look at the foundation and the strength and the function of your body and your muscles and everything that contributes to that, even if you move forward and you go through surgery for whatever part of your body, that there's a really good likelihood that that's all going to change because you haven't honed in on the true cause of what your deficit is and what your injury is, your condition, whatever you want to call it. And if you go through a program, that is, and there's a lot of our ones out there, but if you go through a program that doesn't have a really great, biomechanics and science backing to it for some of this rehab, then you could be missing a lot of the factors that are truly needed. And as I said, just, not tooting my horn because I don't have anything right now. I'm working on some stuff, but truly out there for rehabilitation, but be really mindful of the programs you're looking at and what the qualifications are of the people who are doing it and why they're successful. What's the science behind it, what's their success rate behind it, because that's the other thing, everybody's different and everybody's going to respond to rehabilitation and activity and things differently. So I'm going to end it there for now. I'm sure that I'll at some point come back and redo this a little bit more coherently, but I just really felt the need to put that out there because this is something that's been coming up a lot this past couple weeks on my page of people having specifically the core issues, but also, looking at back pain and things. And we tend to ignore the fact that, we just want to rest and it'll get better. It does get better, but as you probably know, as soon as you start getting into your training, if you haven't really addressed the issue, it just flares up again. So we really need to start looking at addressing the foundation and the mechanics. And once we do that, not only are we going to be more pain-free through all of our training and our playing, but we're going to be able to continue participating longer. And you're going to have these less chances of suddenly, things popping up that kind of sideline you and make it so you can't do these activities that are part of your soul. And so, keep watching my channel and my page for some more information. I'm really excited, to bring some of these ideas, how we return to play safely and stay there and continue playing pain-free to you guys, especially in the midst of all the chaos of family life. Because for many of us, being able to do these activities and being able to play and being able to be active with our kids, but still maintaining our own identities as athletes or active moms or, whatever you kind of picture yourself doing is a really huge part of our lives. And I want to make sure that you stay there. So this is just kind of the first part of it. I hope it made sense. Find out. Feel free to ask some questions on the comments box or shoot me an email at beth@bethjonescoaching.com, and I'm happy to talk to you more about whatever you might be struggling with and how we might be able to help. So have a great day, and I will talk to you guys soon.